Hey everyone, delighted to have you here. So we're going to talk about setting client expectations today. So this is a really important part of maintaining good client relationships, particularly long-term client relationships. So in terms of setting those expectations of what the client can expect from the work, the service, the project that you're going to deliver for them, that work starts before you've even spoken to them. So this is where they might have been referred to you, so how somebody else speaks about you. This could be your website, your social media profiles, your LinkedIn profile, any content or recommendations or anything they read or see or hear or watch about you before they speak with you is going to build up their expectations of what you can do for their business. So that's where you want to make sure that this is the real balance between that content on your site, which is kind of getting people excited about the work you can do, what you can deliver, while also being realistic. Because as I say, it will set the tone for what they expect down the line with the actual project. Then, of course, you're going to be speaking to that prospect through your sales process. You maybe have a connect call and start to discuss what their requirements are. Now, what you have to be mindful of here, right, is many clients, not all, some do have a good understanding and a good, maybe they've been through the process before and they understand and have realistic expectations. But some clients, and understandably, quite understandably, they kind of want to hear that things are going to go amazing, that it's going to transform their business, that the project's going to be so successful and they're going to grow massively off the back of it, depending on what it is your service is. They almost want to hear that, right? So subconsciously, they're asking you, and you can almost sense that they want you to deliver that. And it can be very difficult, particularly at the start, not to get dragged into that and sucked into this kind of situation where you end up just telling them what they want to hear, because you say, yeah, no, if we implement this strategy or if we build this new website, absolutely your sales are going to go through the roof and you're going to be doing 10x what you were doing last year and all these sorts of things. Like sometimes that's what they want to hear. Now, of course, if you go too unrealistic, that's going to throw some red flags probably on their side, but they do want to hear how well things are going to go. So what you really need to do is stick to the truth, like the realistic reality of what you can deliver. And you'll know that based on previous projects, based on your past experience. If they build this new website, if they implement this marketing strategy, if they go ahead with this videography project, whatever it might be, what are the likely results off the back of that? And then, of course, if you give that with the caveat of saying, every project, every campaign is different. We don't know for sure until we run, until we test. But based on our experience, we see X, Y, and Z. And then even if they come back and they say, oh, yeah, but do you think this project, if we do this, we could maybe go a bit beyond that? That's when you need to stick to your guns and say, well, look, in a best case scenario, and of course, hopefully we will do that. But as I said before, we have this track record. We're looking at previous experience. Maybe you can use some statistics for sort of their industry that you can kind of pull offline, that type of thing, and say, well, using these statistics and these metrics and our experience, this is what we would expect. However, on the optimistic side, hopefully we can achieve that, but we certainly can't sort of guarantee it. Because just think about the flip side for one moment, right? Now, if you do get sucked into their desire to hear how well things, like really well things are going to be going, and you start to almost overpromise those things, when you actually launch the project and the reality hits that they haven't seen the results that they were sold or they expected and they went in believing were going to happen, of course they're going to be disappointed. And even if they subtly made you say some of those things, they're going to look at you as the person who said, well, you said you were going to deliver this to me. You said you could get these results off the back of the project. We've spent this money and time with you, and now we haven't seen what we expect. So it can be very tempting, as I say, particularly if you're in a situation where you need to bring in some work, to go down the route of over-promising, even accidentally by just saying some of the things they want to hear. But as I say, wait a few months down the line, the reality is going to hit, and it's going to be a really, really bad scenario for all parties, because they're going to be frustrated, they're going to be disappointed in you. It's not going to be a long-term relationship. You're obviously not going to get any referrals off the back of that, and it's going to really wind up in a bad situation. Whereas if you are realistic and you do hit that optimistic forecast, that possibility that it could go really well, then everyone's going to be particularly pleased with that. So it's a very, very different dynamic. So I made the mistake when I started out freelancing of overpromising a little bit. And I see many others do it as well. So something to be really mindful of is every little touch point you have with clients throughout the sales process, throughout the onboarding process, is setting their expectations. And you want to make sure that they're realistic expectations of what they can expect. And then if you go above and beyond and you deliver the results above that, fantastic. But if you set that target too high from the start, you're setting yourself up for failure with that client. So a really important thing to keep in mind. Thanks for watching as always. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please give us a like. Any comments below are always very welcome, and we'll see you on the next one.